Welcome to Heartistry. This is Farah, Yasmeen, Shaikh, and I am thrilled to have yet another wonderful guest, somebody who is right here in the Bay Area, just like me. We could have even done this one in person, but that's okay. We'll make that happen at another time. But please join me in welcoming Saadia Khan to Heartistry.
Hi, Farah. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to have this conversation with you.
Well, it is a pleasure, and it's been a long time coming. And before we started recording, yeah, I'm a big believer in general in Kismet, and I think that timing is everything. And though we have been in conversation about having you on as a guest for a little while, I think the now is really important because, again, we're going to get into it. But you've made some recent transitions, kind of going deeper into a lot of what's probably going to occupy the time of our conversation today. So, hey, I love when it all lands where it's supposed to.
Yes, totally. And we have lots to talk about. So
beautiful. Well, we heard a little bit about you in the introduction, but what I also love about these conversations is we have time to hear about many aspects aside from what you're doing in the present. And so what I really love to do with my guest, Saadia, is to ask you sort of your origin story, where you were born, brought up, anything about your personal family history, perhaps that you'd like to share with us. And eventually that brings us to the present.
Awesome. Yes. So I was born in Islamabad, Pakistan, lived all my life in Pakistan, did my undergrad from Islamabad in computer science. Just like any other grad student, the whole passion, everything was to get my degree done, get a tech job, work in the tech, and the basics, live life, get married, have kids, the norms. But then I got married in 2007, and then me and my husband, we decided to move to the US and just do kind of 2 years of backpacking, just live our life 2 years, and then head back to Pakistan. So that was the intention. But then we moved to the US in 2008, and we've just been living life since then.
Did you do the backpacking trip?
We did initially, but then we had our child, and then we just got sucked up in life.
Oh, amazing. But I love that initial phase of it. I mean, I don't know many people personally who are like, we're going to move to the States and this is how we're going to spend our time there. I mean, that is awesome. So
we were just a young couple, just got married. We were like, we just want to explore life and not actually before living life. We just want to enjoy life the way we want to.
Yeah. And maybe you were actually living life more than the rest of us who were being too practical about it at the onset.
Exactly. But then at the end of the day, we just got sucked up and we just started doing the norm stuff.
Yeah. And did you, when you sort of started forming roots here, if you will, did you come to the Bay Area specifically?
No, so we moved to Georgia, Atlanta, and my husband was working over there. And then I started working in the tech. I started as any other computer science graduate. I started my journey as a software engineer. I did about 7 to 8 years of program development jobs, then moved to program management. And then I was managing projects and programs. And then it was just, and then we moved to California back in 2014. Yeah. So that was another move that we did from the East Coast to the West Coast. And we've been in the Bay Area ever since.
Yeah. And I think, if I remember correctly, I think we met probably, I remember meeting your sister, I think around 2015, 2016. And so you and I met probably a couple years or so after that. And you stayed in the tech industry when you moved to the Bay. Is that right? Up until recently.
I moved to the Bay Area for my sister because I'm super close to her. She's my soulmate. I love her to death. And when I was on the East Coast and she was on the West Coast, and for almost 7 years, we called each other every single day and kept talking about living closer. Yeah. And then finally, 2014, I just like any other backpacking trip that I decided, I just packed my bags. I didn't have a job in the Bay Area. My husband didn't have a job in the Bay Area. We just packed our bags and we were like, we're moving to California. So that's how it happened. And then we got into the tech, the Silicon Valley. I started working in the Silicon Valley. Then again, with the computer science background, started working as a software engineer and program management roles. And then my last role was, and then I switched from, and then of course it was not fulfilling me completely. I switched from technology to marketing. And in my last role, I was leading go-to-market for a cybersecurity startup.
Okay. Got it. And how long did you do it? Or how long were you in that more marketing position then?
So I was almost 10 years in the tech industry.
Got
Yes.
it. Okay.
So, and then my about 4 years in the marketing role.
Okay.
And that was when I then about 15 years in, I thought to myself, was tech really fulfilling me? It was not. And marketing was something that actually I enjoyed more.
Yeah.
And this entire new journey began.
Let's take our first pause there because we'll certainly want to go deep into what that journey was. So we'll go ahead and mute ourselves for a moment. Welcome back to Heartistry. This is Farah, and today I am in conversation with Saadia Khan. And Saadia, so you are essentially feeling that, okay, some aspects of this are not working for me, but I know that you were simultaneously also, and that's how you and I met. You had taken on a new endeavor. Talk about that. And I know you stayed in your tech job while exploring this new endeavor simultaneously. But first, tell us about where you can tell I'm leading you to.
Yes. So, I mean, 10 plus years in the tech industry, I did my day job and it just was not fulfilling enough. And I just needed an outlet where I would do something which I was really passionate about. And my evenings and my nights used to go towards that. So Indus Threads basically got launched as I personally love accessories. I just feel it's that cherry on the top. It completes your look. And it just makes you feel so confident when you're carrying like a good, nice statement accessory piece. And then I love traveling. All my vacations, I end up either traveling or just going and sitting on a beach or like just getting out of the norm. Yeah. So whenever I would travel, I would come back with an accessory, and then people, my friends and everyone who would look at that accessory would go crazy about it. And they'd be like, oh my God, where did you get that? Because it would always be such a unique piece, such a different, unique piece. So I loved the fact that I just saw that encouragement and that all of that. And I was like, okay, why not combine all my passions together and then just launch this thing? So that is how Indus Threads was born. Indus Threads basically was the name was started by my sister, which so she started this back in 2015. She started this rental of South Asian outfits, which was another big need in the US with us South Asians living these two different lives, where we had our culture, South Asian outfit life, and then our normal everyday outfit lives. So she launched this rental of South Asian outfits. And then she started this, but she was also doing her day job. And then she got sucked so much into the day job that her evenings got a little too busy with kids and everything. And then I would help her out with Indus. And at some point, I really wanted to create something of my own. I really wanted to at some point work on something that really fulfilled me. So I was like, I spoke to her. I was like, you know what, if you don't have time to do this, I'll do it. Yeah. This entire journey started off with that. But then when we started doing the rental of South Asian, there were a lot of loopholes where it just needed a lot of operational stuff with my day job. It was very hard to do that operational stuff. Yeah. So slowly and then I would, with my travels, I would bring back accessories. And when I would do photo shoots for Indus with these accessories, I just felt they just got my audience eyes so much that I would get everybody asking me about it.
Rather than almost over the clothes, it was like, hey, but what about that purse?
What about that accessory? Yeah, and then also the accessory was because South Asian outfits are only need bases. You only wear them occasionally, but an accessory you can carry day to night. So when I saw that shift, I was like, okay, so this works for me too, because it's not, I don't want to get into the operational stuff of it because I have a day job too. So why not just get into accessories? And it actually marked all my passions of traveling and accessories. So two things that I love the most.
Right, right. There you go. And so did you were you selling the accessories then simultaneously to maintaining the kind of the rental of the clothing, or did you depart from one, only focus on, yeah, I mean, now I know you're doing accessories, but what was the transition like?
Yeah, when I saw the need from the audience and my customers, I just thought that I think it's a good idea to transition.
Yeah.
So we just transitioned to accessories.
Okay.
And then we started off with clutches, purses, handbags, morning to evening. We have all kinds of extra bags, from work bags to evenings, to formal evenings, to bridals. A lot of my customers are brides. I mean, they because our pieces are such statement pieces, and they're basically from around the world. So they just bring a little culture of the entire world to you. It's a little something corner of the world. So yeah, so we just started off with clutches and bags and all kinds of purses, and then we start slowly, because for me, it's just fulfilling what my customer needs and what my client wants. And I would have a lot of people come to me and say, "Oh, I love this bag. Do you have matching earrings with it? Or do you have some jewelry with it that goes with it?" So that's when I saw that need, I was like, okay, I need to broaden the product line. So
Okay.
we started doing jewelry with it. So now we do clutches and jewelry. So that is our thing now. Indus Threads is, and then Indus Threads is basically, so Indus civilization is South Asian. So that defines me, and our brand is all about empowering women and being, basically, we advocate about just being you, being authentic and being you. So that is me, and we just love empowering women, just being themselves.
Yeah. Finding those things that sort of rep their style, maybe take them a little beyond what they thought they could put out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what you carry is basically defines you, right? Because that's your style, that's your personal style.
Yeah. Love it. Let's go ahead. We'll take our second pause here. Welcome back to Heartistry. This is Farah Yasmeen Shaikh, and today we're speaking with Saadia Khan, who is telling us about your company, Indus Threads. And so you mentioned that the accessories are from all over the world. So I was even assuming it's not just South Asia. Then you're even beyond South Asia now.
Yes. We have artisans working in Africa. We have artisans working in Turkey.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we bring accessories from around the world.
And how does it work? You see something, you are essentially, you're the role as a buyer as well. And these again are for purchase, not just for renting. Is that correct?
Yes. We moved away from rental, so it's purchase only.
Got it. And so you contact the artisan, the company, the designer, whomever, and do you purchase more than one, or do you generally do sort of singular items? How do you decide on things like that?
No, so we do work with artisans themselves.
Oh,
So
got it.
yes. So, and then also it's not just buying, because I know what my client needs, and sometimes it's a little different from what the artisan has. So there's a lot of tweak that goes into where I just combine what the artisan's specialty is in that particular country or region, and then what the demand is from my clients and customers. So I try to combine the two and bring those things back.
So we talked, about your tech career, and you are doing these things for a while simultaneously. But even in just what you broke down, you're tailoring the desires of your client, your customer, in communication with the artisan. Clearly, you're dealing in different time zones, all of these things. And so that simultaneously, doing that simultaneously to having a full-time job, I can only imagine. Spoiler alert, I know you've recently taken the plunge to do what you're doing full-time, but how did you even traverse that duality, if you will, in the time that you were still in your tech job?
It was hard. It was difficult. It was working till 6 or 7 p.m. in my day job, and then coming back home to my kids and
Right.
doing the family responsibilities. And then after my kids went to bed, I would open up Indus Threads and start working on that till maybe midnight or beyond. But because that was passion and because that was from my heart, it just didn't feel like work. It
Sure.
just felt as if I'm just doing something that I really enjoy. And that kind of kept me going. But of course, your growth is a little slow because there are only a limited number of hours that you're putting in that particular day. But all those hours, I would be super focused and I would really enjoy them. And I would, even though despite the entire tiring day, I would be super tired. But then because it just came from my heart, it just really, I was super passionate about it and it just didn't feel like work.
Yeah.
And then also, I as a person, am a big advocate of women empowerment. I love helping women, helping them have a voice, being themselves. So when I would work with these artisans, and most of them are women, and they're these women who are doing all this beautiful, gorgeous handwork,
Hmm.
and the passion and they had and the enthusiasm they had towards it, it was basically I was helping them generate this separate stream of revenue.
Right.
And that impact actually kept me moving more because
Ah,
I was doing this and that was giving them that was a big impact on them because they were basically getting more revenue from me.
sure.
So just helping them out kept me going more because I was like, okay, I need to get these out on my website, sell them so I can get more from them. And so it's just impacting them too. So that passion also, that impact also kept me going a lot.
Oh, I can imagine. Well, and so much of what you're saying around just even the kind of burning the midnight oil, right? Having that full-time day job. I mean, that is the life of many artists as well, whether they're in the entertainment industry and they're kind of gig workers, as we often call them, whether musicians, dancers, you get like contract work here and there, and then you have to make ends meet. Sometimes that's like in the food industry, working in bars and, things like that, whatever it might be. And some, yes, they're doing that full time, tech, finance, whatever it is to keep ends going. So it's not a model we're not used to seeing. And of course, the factors are also they're very nuanced as far as how some people just quite literally love doing multiple things, right?
Mm.
They love their tech job, they love, their passion. Um, and so, but at a certain point, again, you got to this place where you were like, you made a decision. And what was it that took you there? Was it this driving desire to essentially increase your productivity on both ends and of what you were doing with Indus Threads? How did you make that actual decision? Because I know it's not an easy one when you have a consistent income from one place. So just curious, what got you to feeling comfortable with it?
It was super hard. You have this tech job salary coming in, and then of course, and I did this as a side hustle, as a passion project for almost 2 years. And
Yeah.
after that, I really felt burnt out because all the entire day would be, because if I'm working a tech, I am somebody, if I'm working on something, I have to put in my 100%.
Yeah.
I do not like just doing things on the surface. So I would 100% put in my tech job work hours, and then I would come back home, and then I would be with my kids, and then in my passion project. So it took a toll at some point, but then I saw the growth that Indus was showing me. So that was my biggest deciding factor. Of course, I had to say bye to the paycheck, which was extremely hard.
Yeah.
But then at some point in your life, you just have to choose what makes you happier, what is your passion. After a certain point in my life, I was super passionate about creating impact, and I just felt working on Indus, and I saw the growth, and I could see that how it's growing. I could see that if I'm going to put in more hours on it, I would see even more growth. So I could see that once I was confident that I am able to take this somewhere, that's when I decided, okay, I need to focus on one thing and not juggle these two things. So that is when I decided, okay, it was super hard to say bye to that paycheck, but at some point you just have to pick what is more important to you.
Yeah. Let's take our next pause here. Welcome back to Heartistry. We are chatting today with Saadia Khan and hearing, transitions they always come with sort of multi-layered feelings, right? And like you said, making that decision, it is a tricky one to leave something that feels stable and consistent and yet take the plunge. And then because again, what's fulfilling you? I'm going to pivot us. It's very much connected, but I can't help but wonder, quite literally present day, we are watching, the woes of this country being the US. And I can't help but think about as we're seeing all these tariffs get implemented and whatnot. And I think about so many of the guests that I have here on Heartistry. And so many of them, again, I speak with a lot of artists, creatives, entrepreneurs, people who've come up with amazing, like a product line specifically, in which they're sourcing either the product in its entirety from abroad and or aspects of it, whether it's the packaging, the bottles, if they're in skincare, whatever it might be. I'm curious to know if that's anything that is on your mind. I certainly don't want you to feel like you have to have a response to that. But yeah, has that come up with you either for yourself directly in conversation with others that might be worried about this direct impact as a business?
Yeah, that is one thing that I was just thinking in the morning too, because this has been a very recent change, and but then again, I guess it's part of your as being an entrepreneur. There's so many things, roadblocks that will come ahead, and is something that I will have to face. But yeah, so those have been some recent changes that we will have to navigate our way through. But it's just something, and then again, it's just resilience. It's just fighting those things. So we'll have to maybe change some processes, maybe do something that's going to work for us. We still have a lot of thinking to do over there.
Yeah. I would say almost like probably the biggest thing I guess is it's to know what's happening, stay informed, therefore, but not to sort of knee-jerk react to it in a way that you change your pricing or pivot in a way that maybe there's just like, okay, let's observe, let's see what others are doing. Even though I may not be directly impacted based on what I do, just even again, from the consumer perspective, how are folks going to feel that pinch economically, in their monthly financial just management? Where's it going to show up for any of us? And then therefore a business like mine, what's going to get cut from those expenses? Yeah. Are they going to want to take dance classes still? Are they going to come to shows? Are they, so it's something we all need to stay aware of. But yeah, I couldn't help but wonder. So how long has it been since you've been able to be fully with Indus Threads?
So it's been a little over a year now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I quit the corporate. I've been with Indus, and it's been so fulfilling. It's just been amazing. Mm-hmm. I've been able to put in 100% of my focus in there, and then I see the growth, and I see the difference when I was just doing 3 hours a day versus now that I have an entire day to it. But then I also am enjoying the freedom of time that I get. So that is one thing also that I'm really enjoying. I do feel I'm working more hours in a day now, but it just doesn't feel like work. It's just something that you're doing out of your own passion and something that you really enjoy. And then you also have freedom of your time, and you can actually fit in those little things that I wasn't able to in the past 15 years. So
errands on a weekday are so much easier than on a weekend, aren't they?
I know. And then when Indus was my passion project, most of my weekends would also get into like getting photo shoots done and all of those stuff
Sure.
that I was not able to do over the weekdays. So
Yeah.
my life, I mean, errands was usually like after midnight or way
Yeah.
beyond somewhere.
Yeah, or only online interactions with
Exactly.
those. Yeah.
Instacart has been a big, big, big
Yeah.
help for me. Yeah.
Absolutely get it. And what how have you seen? I mean, I would imagine this is perhaps maybe a very obvious kind of question, therefore answer, but I'm curious to know, how have you seen that growth? I mean, yes, your own time, how much you're putting into it, but how have you seen that impact the business? Are you, yes, you were talking about, oh, I want to be able to do more. How has that resulted? What's come out of that?
Yeah, so so before, of course, a lot of it needed a lot of time. For example, if I have to bring in a new product or launch a new product, everything needed time. Like I would do these launch campaigns and stuff, and everything would need time, and everything needed that effort and those things. But so everything was really slow back then. Like if I had to do something, I had to do it over a period of weeks because I only could give a certain time. Now I'm able to launch those products much faster. I'm able to grow much faster, in the sense I'm able to grow the brand much faster. We have added a new product line, hair accessories, recently.
Okay.
So that is one thing that we've been wanting to do, because Indus is not just, it started with bags and clutches and purses, but we envision Indus to be an one-stop shop for accessories, be it all kinds of accessories, from jewelry to handbags to scarves to hair accessories. So now I'm able to do things much more faster because I have more time, my photo shoots and all of that stuff. And then I am able to grow the team now because I see the need and I need help, because one person, I mean, there's so much that I can do. So we have hired contractors who are working with us with social media, and then with my deck and all of that stuff. So I'm growing the team now. So everything
Oh,
is like
amazing.
become faster now because I have more time to put in.
Yeah. And I imagine you're able to tap into a good amount of all this experience, obviously, you've built up over the years. Being in those more corporate tech environments, you're able to navigate things. You were doing, was it product management as well?
Yes.
Right. So there seems to be like a lot, correct me if I'm wrong, please, but that can translate. Would you agree?
Totally, totally,
Yeah.
yes. I wouldn't consider any of my job being a waste, because everything that I've learned from there, I'm putting it in my own business, from program management to tech to marketing. I started my website. I worked on my website on my own because I'm a software developer too. So I would just sit and do all the Shopify changes myself, to the point where I was like, I don't have time for this. I need to look into the bigger picture,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be wasting time doing all these product listings and stuff. So I had to hire someone. But all of the whole thing started because I was in the tech, so I was doing the tech myself.
Sure.
I enjoy creating content on social media. So I would be creating videos for myself, and I would be editing videos, and I would be doing everything. And of course, when you're starting out, you want to save the money and you want to put the resources in places which is priority. So you're just trying to juggle everything on your own. But now, yeah, so now we finally have a team. I had to outsource social media. So I have a team who works on the social media, on the tech. I was like, so it's like we're on a hyper growth phase. So I'm basically just overlooking stuff and just
Yeah.
working on growing the business. And we've hired help for all the operational stuff.
Awesome. Let's take another pause here. Welcome back to Heartistry. This is Farah, Yasmeen, Shaikh, and today we've been hearing from Saadia Khan and talking a lot about your company, Indus Threads. And yeah, just what you were talking about before we took that pause around, yeah, you want to save money. Also, it's the bottom line. And if you have the skills, it's also like, well, why wouldn't I do it? And so, but that is the dilemma that becomes almost, it's like the blessing and the curse of being qualified in many different areas. I deal with that even in running with my nonprofit of I can do grant writing. I consider myself a strong arts administrator just as much, but there's a certain point that entrepreneurs, generally speaking, have to kind of, if the resources can be provided, generally personnel, to say, okay, what are the unique qualities that only I possess in relation to the nature of the business, right? The vision, like you said, the oversight of all these different components. But it's tricky. It's tricky to, at least for me sometimes, to let go, to say, oh, gosh, but we could still save if I do all of that. But then it's also, well, if I get sick because I've exhausted and burnt myself out, then we actually can't do anything.
Totally. Yes. No, it was hard to let go. And also being that someone who's worked on this, I just wanted that perfect thing out of my resources. It was hard to let go and have the other person take charge of those things and not to get into the nitty-gritties. But I feel that was the best thing that I could do for Indus Threads, because now I have more time where I can just work on developing the business and doing work on different partnerships and meeting people for partnerships, networking, and all of that stuff. So I have more time to do the more vision stuff, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've noticed you've had, events here and there. Your Indus Threads will be part of fashion shows or they're your own events. Can you talk a little bit about that aspect of sort of the in-person interaction you have? And yeah.
Yeah, so we do have pop-ups in the Bay Area. And we do have, we've been doing fashion shows in SF Fashion Week past 2 years now. So we're on the ramp. Most of those fashion shows are organized by other organizations, but Indus Threads was also invited to be on the ramp. So we were there presenting our clutches and our jewelry and our accessories. So we've done a few fashion shows. We do a few pop-ups here and there, just to kind of get that in-person client feedback. So and then also, so those different, wherever we get opportunities, but most of them are organized by other organizations.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. And you mentioned you brought, you have a team now, you've outsourced your social media and such, but I imagine, much of your presence is digital, or speak to that. Do you have a lot of clientele that is in your region in the Bay Area? Do you have a lot that's outside of it? How are folks finding out about Indus Threads? And of course, I should even ask you to start by saying, how can people listening find out more about Indus Threads?
Yes. So most of our initial, which I love, initial thing was word of mouth. If someone would get something from us, they would just love it and they would talk about it. And I would get people emailing me or texting me and saying that, oh, I saw that your bag being held by this person and I would love to come and see. So we do a lot. We don't have an in-person retail yet. It's mostly online. But we do pop-ups here and there. We did one last year in December. It was a fashion show and a fashion pop-up at a fashion event in San Francisco. So I love getting that direct feedback from a client who would just come, and I love when they just go crazy when they look at the bag, or because it's just such handcrafted, and so I just love to see that feedback. And sometimes I'm like, okay, tell me, what do you not like about it? Like, get direct feedback, because I do want to incorporate that feedback into my business. But so it's online right now. People can find us on www.industhreads.com. and we ship all over the US. We've recently started shipping to Europe. Yes, and then we've started international shipping, and we get a lot of international interest. So that is, we love shipping it out to all different countries, and I'm just empowering more women to enjoy these accessories. And yeah, so it's mostly online for now.
Okay, beautiful. What if you could dream as big as makes sense to you? Where would you like to see Indus Threads in, say, 3 to 5 years?
I would. Yeah. Oh my God, where do I start? Like I said, impact was a big thing for me, and that is my backbone for Indus Threads. So we also do donate a percentage of each transaction to our partner charities from around the world. So we do pick different charities for a year for every year we pick new ones, and then we do in-kind donations. And I just feel that impact is one big thing that I just want to embed in Indus, when with our empowering our artisans, impact over there. I just feel impacting our client, because I love when women carry our bag and they send me pictures and they're like, oh my God, I love it. I feel so confident carrying this. And so I would love to, in 3 to 5 years, I would love to kind of double down on the impact with, I would love to do more events hosted by Indus, where different events, where I would love to do events on talking about different topics on entrepreneurship, personal development, professional development, where I can impact each individual woman who comes and attends these events. And then also, I would love to include, we have about 10 artisanal families right now associated with us, who are creating our products, and who are around the world. We have some in Turkey, we have some in Greece, we have some in Africa, we have some in India, in Pakistan. So I would love to add more and more artisanal families, so I can impact more of these families. And then I would love to share the love to as many people, as many women as I can.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So much of what you spoke to is really like you've already got all of that in your foundation. And it's really just about kind of going deeper and broadening, like you said, the impact kind of in all these different ways. And so I think that in and of itself is such an important lesson. I think there's often, we're always trying to create new something, but it's saying, no, this is actually working for us. How can we go deeper in it? Right?
Yeah, I guess for me, the three important C's for Indus Threads is our customer, our charity partners, and then our creators, the makers. So these are the three pillars of my brand, and I really want to get deep down into how I can create more and more impact for our customers, our creators, and our charity partners. I would love to create more impact into all these different pillars of Indus Threads.
Oh, I love that. And you mentioned the website, industhreads.com, correct? And what is your social media handle?
So our social media handle is Indus Threads.
Great.
Okay. Yes. So it's
wonderful. Wonderful. Well, Saadia, I would love to end with a question I ask a lot of my guests. And you actually have responded to it almost directly without knowing you did, but you'll see where I'm going with it. But it's really about this concept of heartistry. It's the word heart and artistry put together. And when I sort of birthed this idea, not the word, it was something I think I had seen, and I know that other people have used it in different contexts. So I won't take credit for the word, but it certainly felt like a great fit, because I just had a strong desire to speak with individuals who are bringing a passion, compassion, and commitment to whatever they're doing. And yes, a lot of artists, creatives, entrepreneurs, and again, kind of crossing into all these different industries, if you will. But I think that common thread is exactly that passion, compassion, commitment component there. But what I'm curious about is whether when you first saw the word heartistry, when I reached out to invite you to join me in conversation, or as I'm speaking about it now, what, if anything, it invokes for you?
When I saw that, I was like, okay, heart is something which is close to you, something which is so near and dear to you. And then I was like, okay, yes, and this is that thing for me. I was like, I would love to do this. And then artist, like it's like your passion, what you're passionate about. And I feel an entrepreneur is passionate. There's so much to it. It's not easy. It's a big struggle. It's not easy as a day. It's not as like you're starting your day at 9 and you're ending your day at 6. There's a lot that goes into it, and if you don't have that passion towards it, your people give up, they quit. And the whole thing is to basically just get, just have that passion and that closeness, and so you can actually go that extra mile for it. You wouldn't want to go an extra mile for something that you're not passionate about, right? So yeah, so that clearly, like, I was like, okay, I need to talk my heart out.
There you go. No, yeah, 100% agree. And I think it's very, very clear, both in sort of the journey that you've been on, clearly the journey you continue to traverse and where you hope it takes you, and therefore Indus Threads. But it's just such a joy to see you just, stepping into all of that, the potential of what you're doing. And again, I'm especially moved by the component of impact that you described so beautifully. So yeah, I look forward to seeing all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is in my next phase of life. I think impact was the reason that I took this, and then I did the derail of whatever I was doing, and I just started this thing, which is not easy, and it comes with a lot of struggle and a lot of difficult times, like you just mentioned, these tariffs. So this is just one thing of the entire journey. I'm sure it's going to be it's not going to be easy, but yeah.
But you've got the passion.
I got the passion.
Yes. Well, it has been such a joy to have this time with you, hear more about all that you're up to and what is coming out of all of that passion. And I'm just so grateful for your time today on Heartistry. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so nice talking to you.
Likewise.